Hi guys, Josh here, and after years of waiting, Chef RPG finally released in early access on Steam. I've been playing it for about 10 hours now, so in this video I'll be sharing with you my first impressions of this new life sim and restaurant management game, the things I liked and disliked, and it should give you a good idea of what to expect and whether or not this game is for you. I'll keep this video pretty short and straight to the point since the game is in early access, but I'll most likely be making a more in-depth review once the full release is out, so feel free to subscribe if you want to see that. So let's get into it, and this game surprised me right away by asking me to pick my starting season. I've seen way too many springs with the amount of farming sims that I play. It is September right now, so I went for fall. I like that each season has a description so you know if one will have more forageables, more fish, less animals to hunt, and so on, so you can pick whatever fits your preference, and you can go for winter if you want an extra challenge. Similarly, when creating your character, you get to select between a human, which will receive a boost to relationships, or an android, which will receive a boost to stamina, and then you can allocate points in a few stats and select a profession, which will determine the type of recipes you start with. I really like how you get a lot of choices that actually impact the gameplay, and you can really feel the RPG part of Chef RPG. So this character you're playing as recently graduated from culinary school and is being given the chance to revive Le Sequoia, a once popular restaurant in the town of Whiteash Harbor. You leave the big city, settle in this small town, and everything looks great. The pixel art is fantastic. I love the buildings that have this cyberpunk theme to them, as well as the cast of characters comprised of humans and androids, all with their own unique look. I won't spoil anything from the story, but I just finished Act 1 and I found it very fun to follow along. You have these dreams at night where you get to see the past of your character, and it feels like they have a lot more of a story than most blank slate characters you would get in other games of this genre. Overall, Chef RPG really nails the atmosphere, but now let's talk about the gameplay. Before you can run your restaurant, of course you need some ingredients. So a lot of your time will be spent either shopping, as most of the common ingredients can be bought, or if you want to save money and level up your character, you can go foraging, hunting, and fishing by yourself. Foraging is like you would expect, it's done either by hand or with the site depending on the resource, and pretty much everything respawns every day, so it is something you can spend a lot of time doing. Hunting is done with a bow where you need to aim and charge at wild animals. You have infinite arrows and it's not too difficult, but it does take some time to finish some of these animals, especially with the starter bow and your low stats at the beginning. Fishing is straightforward. Once a fish bites, you use the WASD to keep the fish inside the circle, as it is fighting to make its way out. You have to be very quick because as soon as the fish bites, if you're not pressing any key right away, it will get out of the circle. But if you manage to stay inside from the beginning, I found it to be a pretty well balanced and fun fishing mechanic. Later on, other activities like mining and farming will be unlocked. I've not done those yet, but if you find the days slow or repetitive at first, you can expect more things to make their appearance over time. As you do these different activities, you will level up and get points to invest in a skill tree, unlocking new perks and improving some of your stats. The game gives you a lot of freedom when it comes to creating and building up your character, and the same applies for your restaurant that can be adapted to your playstyle and preferences. If you don't like hunting, then make a vegan restaurant. If you like fishing, then focus on fish-based dishes. You want to make fun drinks and run a bar, then get the different brewing related machines and concentrate on that. It can take some time to acquire recipes, so most players will probably have to do a bit of everything to get started, but overall it offers a lot of flexibility. Once you have ingredients in the fridge and your menu is set, you can hire waiters. You absolutely need waiters as you can't serve dishes yourself, and you can also hire cooks to help you. You can decorate your restaurants. There is a furniture store where you can buy the essentials like chairs and tables, various cooking appliances, and decor items like plants, lamps, and then eventually you can expand the restaurant, change the floor, and so on. When you're ready, open the restaurant and get to work. I have to admit, I was a bit disappointed when it came to actually running that restaurant. So here's how it works. Customers arrive always one by one, they take a seat, and then an order shows up at the top of your screen. You simply interact with the fridge and your character picks up the ingredients automatically. You then go to the proper cooking appliance for that dish, and each appliance has a unique minigame. Now, I love those minigames. One is a rhythm game that's almost like DDR, another one looks like the fishing in Stardew Valley. They're all fun and engaging, they're great. If you do good enough during a minigame, You can then unlock AutoCook, which will randomize the quality of your dishes but skip the minigames. Once a dish is ready, you just put it on the countertop, a waiter will pick it up and serve it to the customer. A customer might order a few more dishes, and when they're done, they leave, and the waiter picks up their empty plate. Maybe I had incorrect expectations for this game, but with running a restaurant, I was hoping for at least a bit of multitasking. Put something in the oven, wash the dishes in the meantime, help your waiters clean up the tables, go back and take out the stuff from the oven so it doesn't burn. I feel like I should be doing multiple things at once, but it's really just interact with fridge, interact with cooking appliance, interact with countertop, repeat. There is no strategy. If you have more seats in your restaurant, you get more customers, but it doesn't get more difficult. The only thing you can do is hire more staff, but your part of the job remains the exact same. You can't work faster or do more. There's no way to be more efficient. And that's also another thing. It seems like your restaurant is always packed no matter what. If you have 10 seats, you will get 10 customers walking in one by one to fill them up. If you have 15 seats, then you'll get 15 customers. There is a reputation system, but at least where I am in the game right now, I feel like it doesn't really make any difference. I wish there was some management behind the number of seats available and the guests, so things like customers arriving in groups, having to choose the best table for them to avoid empty seats, dealing with people lining up when the restaurant is full. These are all things I expect from a good restaurant sim, but it's not what we're getting here. It's really just fridge, cooking, countertop, fridge, cooking, countertop. And maybe there is more later, but as of right now, it doesn't feel like a restaurant. So I don't know if that's a realistic ask, but what I would love to see changed the most with this game is how the restaurant works. I want more mechanics so it's a bit more engaging, and dare I say it, chaotic and stressful like any restaurant is. Like I said, maybe I just had the wrong expectations, but since the whole game revolves around running a restaurant, I was hoping for something like Diner Dash, Lemon Cake, Overcook, and I am a bit disappointed. Other than that, I don't have too many complaints with the game, but I did notice a few issues. In 2 instances, my character got stuck and couldn't move anymore, and I had to reload the game, but fortunately you can save at any time, and it also autosaves quite frequently, so I did not lose any progress. I noticed some typos here and there, and one notable one is with Mailu or Mailu. I'm not sure how I should pronounce it, and it also seems like the developer wasn't sure if it should be spelled M-A-E or M-A-Y, as both are being used. There are also other little oversights. For example, when I arrived, this girl told me she would give me the recipe for apple pie. She did not. And instead, I got the apple pie recipe from the next NPC, who did not even mention apple pie. Another quest at the beginning is to do a soft opening for your restaurant, but you can actually open and operate your restaurant perfectly normally even before doing that soft opening quest. I know it's a small detail, but it doesn't make too much sense and broke the immersion a bit for me. Last thing that bugged me, so for context, to harvest forageable items, you need to unequip your tool and then press X or spacebar. But if you're in front of something already, like you're in front of a bush and you then unequip your tool, in order to harvest that bush, you first have to move away from it and then come back. Otherwise, you will not get the prompt to harvest and it won't work. It is a very small thing, but it's annoying. Except for my complaints about the gameplay part with the restaurant, all of these are things that can be fixed easily, so I'm not too worried about seeing them in early access. And who knows, some of them may already be fixed by the time you're watching this video. In conclusion, I am hopeful for Chef RPG. Sometimes I play a game in early access and I just know instantly that there is no way it could be fixed. Other times I play a game in early access and right away it's amazing and worth jumping into. Chef RPG is somewhere in between. Despite some of its flaws, bugs, and the lackluster restaurant management, it has a good story, beautiful art, great ideas, and you can see that so much effort went into it. Most of the issues I pointed out can be fixed, I believe. It could be amazing as a full release, but unless you're starving for it, I would recommend waiting. It needs more time in the oven, but I think that the developer is cooking something good here. So for me, I'm going to leave the door of the oven closed for a bit, eat something else in the meantime, and I'll taste it again when it's closer to being done. But I would love to know what you think. Have you tried Chef RPG? Was it a sweet experience or did it burn you? Share all of your thoughts in the comments. Also, like I said at the beginning, I will do a complete review of this game when it gets a full release, but I'm curious to know what you thought of this video. I usually like to talk about every single aspect of a game and dive a bit deeper in my reviews, so let me know if this video was too shallow and if it was helpful or not. as I'm trying to find a good balance between covering a lot of games, but also sharing useful information. So leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.